Welcome to these moments where we focus our attention on an aspect of nature once again. And we can do this either by actually being out in nature, which is a wonderful place to be these days, or indeed we can use our imagination, or we could use a picture that might help us to focus on this aspect of nature, which is actually a mountain. So if you want to get maybe a picture that you have of a mountain and place it in front of you, you're welcome to go and do that. You can choose to sit. It's probably best to sit, if possible, maybe on a mat or a cushion, just so that you're down close to the earth, but see what fits. See what fits for you. So settling and allowing the body to settle. Just notice the movement from exterior to interior, the bringing of your attention into the inner world, allowing what's going on in the outer world just to drift into the background of your awareness. And noticing that settling in the body. And as you do, you'll probably notice little pockets of tension or pockets of holding. Simply when these come to your awareness, allow them to just dissolve. You're not wondering why they're there, you're simply noticing and letting go. And to begin, I'm going to recite part of the poem from Rachel Holstead. It's called Frontiers. And I'll finish it near the end of the meditation. On those difficult days, when a frontier looms, decisions seem called for, and the armies of your mind muster and set off on a headlong gallop towards the horizon. They make so much noise that the heart's soft voice is drowned out, and kick up so much dust that compassion's anchor loses purchase. The faster the armies gallop, the farther away the horizon seems, the bumpier path and the cloudier the dusty air. And we trip over innocent rocks and trample innocent plants and startle quietly grazing flocks, causing them to scatter and become embroiled in our turmoil. So in these mindful moments, we're allowing all of that to settle. Maybe we're becoming aware of how we're running away from stuff maybe that we need to address. So let's see how our practice unfolds in this day. The invitation is to choose or see a mountain. Maybe it's a favourite mountain of yours. Maybe it's one that you see often. Maybe it's one that's in your imagination, or maybe it's one that you've only seen in photographs or on video. The invitation is to bring that particular mountain, it can even be a big hill, to your mind's eye. Notice its outline against the backdrop of the sky. Notice its surface and anything on its surface that catches your awareness. Is there any vegetation on the surface of the mountain? Or has the vegetation been scattered and torn away from its sides? Notice the colour. And what particular season do you see your mountain in? Is there snow or ice on the top? Or maybe down the sides too? Or is it a springtime mountain with water finding its way down the side of the mountain? Maybe creating rivulets or gorges, creating its own path as it tumbles towards the sea. Just notice what comes to your eyes, whether it's in your imagination or in actuality. Is there a lofty peak, or is it more a soft, undulating top? And bringing the eyes down towards the base of the mountain, how broad is the base? Is this mountain part of a range, or does it stand alone, raised up at some stage from the bowels of the earth by some huge force of nature many millions of years ago? Coming back to the surface of the mountain again, noticing about the different things on the surface and how they are impacted by the seasons, such as ice or snow or vegetation that we mentioned already. And there'll be different colours and different shapes and different forms, whether it's in the winter with the harsh winds and heavy rains, or in the spring where the flush of new vegetation may appear on the base or some way up the mountain. But notice how your mountain adjusts and evolves and opens its arms, so to speak, to accept what comes, no matter what's thrown at it. With the mountain, no matter what's thrown at it, it stands. It stands solidly. Deep in its centre, there's an unwaverability and a steadfastness in the mountain that's immovable. The invitation in your sit is to mirror that steadfastness and immovability within yourself. Allow it to enter in, as if you could actually put it on. Sense it deep within your own core, that these core attributes of this wonderful facet of nature could become yours. It's immovability, despite what's thrown at it. It may even be a mountain where pilgrims walk, maybe many millions of people or thousands of people. Yet the mountain accepts. Whether it's uncomfortable or not, it accepts what comes. Lots of people trudging on its surface. And there may too be people that are tugging at your surface. Relationships in your life, difficulties with people, maybe some of these will just simply pop into your mind. The invitation is to acknowledge them and then come back to that sense of steadfastness and immovability and indeed inner stillness. At the core of the mountain and at your own core. Notice how deep it is. If you can access this within yourself, even a little tiny shred of it, it's there. Most of the time we don't notice because of the busyness, or maybe because of people trampling on our hearts. But whatever it is, it takes us away from our knowing. Our knowing how we have that innate core of steadfastness, steadiness, immovability, and inner stillness within ourselves. Breathe into it. Allow it to show its presence. Even the tiniest seed. If it helps, imagine that you could embody the mountain. Imagine your head moving up towards the lofty peak or the curved top. Your shoulders and your body settling becoming the sides and the base. And in this way, you might better mirror what the mountain has to offer you in this way. Notice what works for you. And from that position, you might look out from this steady, sure perspective. From this immovable position, and despite the things being thrown at you, you might find that core of stillness is more easily accessible. When times are tough. But like with everything else, our practice taking those moments to become stillness itself. To touch into our own base of immovability and steadfastness and steadiness. From our own rootedness and groundedness. Just like the mountain is rooted and grounded in that particular spot, it doesn't run from trouble when it comes, but remains. Remains resolute, steady, sure. So finishing the rest of the poem, just using our ears, yet maintaining that inner core of stillness. Noticing if it's possible to stay tuned to both. But if we can persuade the horde to slow a little, that stopping a while will help rather than hinder. Perhaps we can sit by the side of the track and let the dust settle and the noise die away. And somehow we find ourselves where we need to be, which is here. And we can set anchor again. And when, out of the silence, the soft voice of our heart speaks, it is all the answers we need.